Okay, Larry, we're here at Spark Media.
Yep.
And we're at day 2 today.
Is it really day 2?
I know.
Okay.
Can you believe it?
If you say so.
Isn't it crazy when you come to these things and it seems like a marathon and it's only been like 24 hours?
It's insane, and especially when this is what you do the vast majority of the time.
Yeah.
I go conference to conference to conference to speaking gig to speaking gig to speaking gig, so they all tend to just kind of flow together.
Yeah.
And that's why I had no idea this was day 2 at all. I'm serious. It's just
Check the
another
calendar.
day.
Yeah. What's been your favorite part of Spark Media so far?
Oh man, that's a tough question. It's really just the people. I mean, this is such a tight-knit community,
Yep.
and it's such an engaged community that it makes all the difference in the world. You
Yeah.
know, I go to conferences that vary in size, and the smaller, more intimate settings are always the ones that I enjoy the most, because you have that opportunity to generate real relationships.
Yeah, I agree.
That go beyond just the 3-4 days or whatever of that conference time, and then you never hear from anybody again. Here you have the opportunity, and people are anxious and eager to make long-lasting, fruitful relationships.
I agree.
Very good.
And you were a keynote speaker today?
Keynote might be a stretch, but I mean, yeah, I was one of the speakers this morning, yes.
And you talked on what?
How to leverage AI for podcasters, how to use some tools to streamline your workflow, how to leverage AI to generate ideas for content, ideas for episodes, and then also just cutting down on that overall workload. You know, we have a lot of
wow.
independent podcasters that are here at this conference. And a lot of times people will start a podcast from the house, which is very common, but yet they don't realize the effort that goes into making a quality podcast. So many people think it's just jump on the mic, record it, and throw it out there. But you've got all the production, you've got the post-production, you've got the prep work,
Yeah.
you've got the
yeah.
marketing, you've got the
Yeah.
support, you've got the guests, you've got the, all of this stuff goes into
Yeah.
it. And people don't really get that. And before you know it, no longer do they have a hobby, they've got a second job.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, totally. Yeah.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure.
You were hitting out a lot of really interesting tools too. I saw on the presentation. I downloaded it. Thank you for the QR
Awesome.
code.
Yeah.
Shared it with the team.
Cool.
So, and you were talking about some Chat GPT prompts and stuff like that. Are there any other kind of tools that stood out that we should be aware of and thinking about? That
I mean, there's a couple of great tools. There's so many out there right now, and really it just depends on what you're trying to do. From a podcast perspective, ChatGPT is my go-to. That's what I specialize in, and that's what I travel around the country talking about on a variety of different levels, not just in the podcast space.
Right.
So I'm a little biased in regards to what we can do there.
Yeah.
But there's a ton of tools. Capsho is an amazing tool that will streamline your entire workflow. Cast Magic is another one that's great. Otter AI is amazing for getting transcripts and doing clips.
You ready to use
Another
that?
one that I love is called video.ai, and that's VIDYO.ai. Not a sponsor, so I'm plugging them because I really like the product, not because I get any kind of affiliate or anything. But what it will do for you is help you streamline your video content creation. You can upload your entire video episode, regardless of how long it is, 30, 60 minutes, doesn't matter. And using AI, it will go through and cut up clips of shorts and reels and TikToks and all of your
That's
vertical
awesome.
video.
Wow.
It'll frame it, it'll put captions, the whole 9 yards, and all you do is upload.
Wow.
upload once. and then
Upload
it-
once and you're good. Now, here's the caveat is that, AI is still evolving. This is a fairly new experiment for most of us.
Yeah.
November of last year was when
Yeah.
ChatGPT hit the scene. And since then, we've seen all these tools come forward. So it's evolving. And the caveat to video.ai is you're only going to get about roughly 20% of really usable content out of that.
Yeah.
But if you have a 60-minute episode, or even a 30, let's go more reasonable, go a 30-minute episode, and it cuts it into 30 clips, and you can use 15 of them,
That's a lot
Wow,
of
that's a
work.
lot.
done.
that's a
Yeah.
content
Yeah.
calendar right there. You're done.
Yeah.
You're done for that, and you do that for every episode, week after week. All your bases are covered, and it's just
Yeah.
upload one and done, out the door. It's awesome.
Is it audio and video?
Audio
I
and
guess-
video, yes.
I guess with
I
that
mean,
name, it's got to be video.
Well,
But-
the video is the basis, and the whole
Right.
concept behind it is to create the vertical videos, which is
Yeah.
where we're getting all of our attention right now.
Yes.
Right.
A lot of podcasters are missing out because they'll post their episode and then they don't promote it.
There's
Yeah.
no way anybody knows that it exists.
Exactly. And short form content, that's what's ruling
Buzzing.
the world right now.
That is
Yeah.
Whether it's
100%.
YouTube Shorts, whether it's right now Facebook Reels
Right.
are crushing it with organic
Agreed.
reach.
Wow.
Facebook Reels, not Instagram.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong, Instagram still works, but you're getting a ton more right now engagement on Facebook
Yep.
Reels
Okay.
than any other platform.
I know.
It's crazy.
It is.
Wow.
You know, part of the reason I think that is it's an older audience. And so
That might be why I hang out there. I don't know.
an older audience will, I think, take more time on it and stuff like that, where the Instagram is a little bit younger of an audience and they just need quick like, quick
Yep.
like,
Yep.
quick
Yeah.
like, where the engagement that's happening is a little bit in the older audience that's, you know, taking the time to look at it and
Sure.
then look up what it was that you had and stuff like that. But yeah, I agree. Facebook
Sorry,
is.
can I nerd out one more time on
Yes,
another
let's do
question?
it.
So, Chat GPT 4 or 3.5?
Oh, in my personal opinion, you got to go 4. I mean,
Okay.
3.5 is the free version. So if you're not willing
Right.
to cough up the $20 a month to go to the paid version, you're going to be stuck using 3.5.
Yeah.
But 4 is so much more creative, and it's designed for creativity and collaboration. So the language model behind it, it's really been trained to emphasize collaboration and creativity. So
Okay.
Wow.
your result sets are going to be tremendously different when you compare 4 to 3.5.
Is it a good idea to use chat for generating your descriptions and your titles and all that? For
Most definitely. I mean, and I'm a little biased with ChatGPT just because that's been my world for the last almost year now. But there's other tools out there like the Capshows and the Cast Magics that will do that for you if you're not quite as skilled at prompting. Because
Yeah.
regardless of whether you're using a GPT 3.5 or 4, if you don't understand prompting and you can't prompt it properly, your results, they're not going to be what you're looking for. They're going to be very poor. They're going to be very generic, very bland. But if
Okay.
you up your skill sets when it comes to prompt engineering and you understand there's a new feature in ChatGPT, relatively new, called custom instructions that allows you to set a persona for your ChatGPT account. And you know, typically we've seen people when they prompt, they go, "I want you to act as a copywriter
Yeah.
and write show notes for my podcast episode. Here's the transcript."
You're the world's best marketer. or
Exactly.
something.
Yes.
Well, custom instructions allows you to do that at the account level. So anything you do takes these custom instructions into account before it gives you any response. So you can set that up, and now you don't have to do it at the chat level.
Okay, that's good.
It just does it every time. So it knows, oh, I'm a copywriter. So every time you go in, it's going to approach the results as a copywriter.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
good stuff
Very
there.
good.
We got
Yeah.
a little deep there. Didn't mean to
No,
go that
that's-
deep,
that's
but
worth
it's
it.
really
Yep,
good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is so his world. He loves.
Yeah, I
he
mean,
loves
I
all
think
of-
it's something I
And poor
kinda-
Amber's like, yep, that's
Yeah, I
cool.
was like-
All
Well,
right.
if
so-
you had said on some of other episodes, you would not feel sorry for me at all. Dan has said and had to listen to all
Yeah.
kinds of
Well,
interviews from
takes all
ladies that
kinds.
are, you know, their whole message is
Yeah, I'm just glad there's
women
another
empowerment.
guy on the podcast
There you go.
today
There you go.
at the show.
It's,
No,
it's funny.
kidding.
I can relate because I do a lot of work with the
Yeah.
E-Women's Network and Speakonomics, which is another women's speaking organization.
Right.
And I'm generally speaking, I'm one of maybe 2 guys
Yeah.
that are at the entire conference. So
Yeah.
I can definitely
Okay.
relate to what you're saying.
Yeah,
There you
we
go, bro.
I like it. I like the connecting. I like what's happening. This is amazing. This is what happens at Spark Media Conference
right.
2023. Real
was
connections
Misty's
are
vision,
made.
yeah.
Yes, real connections are
We're just
made.
very supportive
over,
of everyone.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Well, Larry, I mean, I know your talk was wildly successful. I love what you're bringing to the podcasting world, and especially the faith podcasting world. Education is key. Resources are key for us to grow and develop, and make our mark in the media industry and be able to up our bar a little bit. And all of this knowledge and resources is how we do it.
Sure.
You know, and so I love that Misty had you here speaking and all that you delivered. So how would people get in touch with you? And I know you have a show.
Yes.
And then you produce shows.
Yes.
And you are all podcasting, all things. So how does the audience find you, get in touch with you?
I mean, I'm
work
all
with
over
you?
social media. Larry Roberts on every platform. I'm really more active on Facebook because I am 51, so that's kind of where I hang out. But Facebook is great, and also LinkedIn is another strong platform for me. So you can find me there. You can always go to my website, redhatmedia.io. My show is also called Branded, where we release episodes every Tuesday morning with my co-host, Sarah Losi. And we also collaborate together in a joint venture to launch Branded Podcast. So,
Perfect.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
great.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's really great.
I'm gonna go add another podcast to my
I know.
podcast
We have
app.
a long list of podcasts.
So you said you listened to my
on.
podcast this morning.
So
Which
I
one
found
was it?
your old one. You said that you pointed out to
Yeah,
me
You're
that
the
was the older
Boss.
one. Yeah, which
Yeah.
was great. It was just more business kind of oriented.
Yeah, it's a very
yeah,
entrepreneurship-based podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh, I
I'll
like
have to
that.
go check out the new one.
Yeah, so it's for everybody that wants to be their own boss. It was called You're the Boss.
Yeah.
We've got a new one dropping called DFW Business Builders, which is
Yeah.
going to be a very hyper-focused podcast on the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.
Okay.
And it's going to be video first, so understanding the power of video and how video's really gaining the most attention. Not to say audio only is something we don't need to ignore that. We definitely need to leverage that as well.
100%.
But video is, people are consuming video at record rates.
So you're on YouTube, I assume, then.
I am on YouTube as well. DFW Business Builders is going to have its own page. It's a whole thing.
Awesome.
And with the trailer's out, but we're recording episodes right now. It's going to be seasonal, and I'm going to release the whole season in one time.
Oh,
So,
that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. And I agree. We actually had Adam Curry on earlier, and we were talking about, in my mind, when you say podcast, audio is always the first thing you think, and then you add in video. So like it's not a this or that; it's
Right.
an add-on. So in my opinion, adding on video to your podcast, your sound should be excellent already. You should already have all of that in place and done. Add the video on, and now you have marketing material for days.
Right. Right.
So it's an add-on to help take your podcasting to the next level.
Yep.
In a lot of ways. So I'm excited for that. I'm really going to like that podcast. I love all entrepreneurship of all things, so that's going to be
Absolutely.
great.
Yeah.
Thanks for sitting with us today.
Cool. My pleasure.
Yeah.
It's always awesome.
Yep. And Dan,
Yeah.
it's been another one.
It's been fun. It's been real. And
But it hasn't
thanks
been
for
real
all
fun.
And it's been
ha-
real
No,
fun.
it has been real
It
fun.
has
Sorry,
been real fun.
I'm sorry.
It has been real fun.
I thought that's where we were going. My bad.
No, no, no.